Red Bull controversy, 2026 engine sound, and F1 back in Portugal. Let's discuss new portion of news in F1. FIA has same old president, as Bem Sulayem will officially be the FIA president for the next 4 years. Let's be real, he didn't have real competitors, even though there were a couple of who tried to sneak his position, but there were no such thing as competition. Even though in February in French court there will be a hearing because one of the competitors has some arguments against this choice of presidency. Speaking about the future, Honda, as one of the manufacturers of the engines, has officially released its engine sound for 2026. That's quite a better sound that we have now. However, if someone expects it to be like or even better than those of the past, it's not gonna be, at least for this set of regulation. I doubt that we will hear exactly the same sound, as there will be an engine cover and the completed car in general. So this should be nevertheless an exceptional sound, but with some correlation to it. I genuinely would like to hear your thoughts on the sound. Drop your opinions in the comments, please. Portimao will return to the F1 calendar in 2027 and 2028. It effectively takes the slot vacated by Zandvoort, which will hold its final Dutch Grand Prix in 2026. It is the right moment to remember what an absolute chaos happened at the start of the 2020 Portimao Grand Prix, as Kimi Raikkonen went from P16 to P6 and Carlos Sainz went from P7 to P1. That one will be an interesting Grand Prix to watch, as we had a race only in the previous generation of cars. So with massive regulations and quite a few grid changes, we would all like to see a chunk of battles on the track, as it replaced Zandvoort, where we had heaps of overtakes, at least in 2023, if I'm not mistaken, 103 overtakes. There's a lot of things going in the background while we on the winter break. For example, a Concord agreement was signed. It is strictly among FIA, F1 and F1 teams. It is about what one can do, what authority one has, for what who is responsible and how much money one will earn. This is a strictly secret document from which we can only hear like a small portion of news. So this time it is that FIA will be given more money from F1, so that it could improve in stewards' decision, managing a race, and technical stewards. From my point of view, there's just tremendous direction to take, as in the past we had talks like, why don't we have stable stewards in F1 and change them for every race? Then FIA was responding that they just don't have enough money to have the same paid stewards for each Grand Prix. Let's hope that with this Concord agreement it could be managed better, but it is just truly strange that stewards aren't paid in F1 for the job they do. So let's hope that can be resolved in the near future. Also about new season, there is a rumors that a constructor is reportedly developing an electronic solution for front wing aero control, moving away from hydraulics. The concept could reduce weight and unlock a performance gain, though the technical challenge is significant. This will be a massive advantage over the rivals, as we've already seen some kinda system from Ferrari during post-season test, but those were just mule cars. So, if it happens, it will give a tremendous advantage, as we've already seen the case where teams battled for weight reduction in 2022 at the start of the year, when Red Bull had extra 10 kilos and was losing at the start to the Ferrari. I will keep an eye on those news and will let you know if there is something interesting to know. Before I go down to two that are just shocking news, let's just get over two quick few updates. So, for example, do you remember the crash that Nico and Hamilton had in Barcelona in 2016. For that year, they had a signed agreement that if they crash into each other, they have to split the check for that crash. So in that case, it was 360,000 euros from each of them. It certainly wasn't a disaster for their bank account. Nevertheless, it's certainly better to keep that amount of money rather than give after the one race. And as you know, we have annual prize giving ceremony in Uzbekistan. Max wasn't presented in it, as he said, he caught a cold. Nevertheless, he was spotted a few days later in first Monaco and then in Portugal testing new GT3 cars, where he was driving Mercedes in rainy condition. Plus, there was some interesting footage, as on Max's car it was number 3. So, can we officially say that it is a number change for Max Verstappen? As he entered his F1 career, he said that he wanted number 3. Nevertheless, it was taken by Daniel Ricciardo, who is his pal. However, after this new rule in F1, the drivers can change their numbers throughout their career, but do this before the start of the season, we could see Max just take his beloved number 3. And now let's talk about Red Bull. As we already know, Helmut Marko and Red Bull terminated their contract for 2026. It was like a last dance for Helmut, as he went to Dellenburger and spoke after his departure. He said that recently a lot has changed in the team, in fact in a very short period of time. You think you know people well, but in the end it turns out that that's not the case at all. Then he added, I remember a party in 2022 before the Austrian Grand Prix. Dietrich Mateschitz was there, but wasn't in a good health. Christian Horner came up to me and said he won't make it to the end of the year. From that moment on, he started getting closer to Chalem Yudvidhua. When Didi passed away later that year, he did everything to take control with Yudvidhua's support. On behalf of Austria, I did everything to prevent that. This year we had to act because the on-track performance were poor. If we had done it earlier, we could have turned things around more quickly this year and Max would have become world champion. I'm convinced of that. These last few years with Horner haven't been pleasant. We were playing unfair games. Do you remember that I said that Checo Perez is South American and that's why his mind isn't as focused as Max Verstappen or Sebastian Vettel's? And I was supposedly spreading rumors in 2024 that our engine development was behind and that we were therefore going to lose Ford as a sponsor. I never said that, but Horner wanted to use it to suspend me. Since Max intervened in Jeddah, that didn't happen. We were able to demonstrate more and more often that Horner was lying about everything and anything. When Chalem realized it, he changed his mind. I think we will miss Helmut in the paddock. However, it will be interesting to hear Horner's side. Speaking about Horner, he could make his return to F1 in a few months as he's in talks with Alpine F1 team. The Briton had recently hinted that he just doesn't want to come back as team principal, but would like to acquire a stake in a team. Just to remind you, F1 teams now worth billions of dollars, which is a wanted piece of cake for everyone. Otro Capital, which has held 24% of the Alpine team's shares since 2023, is considering the possibility of selling its shares. As a result, Christian Horner, along with a group of investors, would be interested in this stake. When questioned on the subject, the Briter did not deny any information, but didn't want to wish to discuss it further. As a reminder, he won't be able to join another team until spring 2026 due to the gardening leave. As I was editing the video, F1 has revealed a finalized regulation for naming different modes and concept of 2026 cars. So let's get over them. Active aerodynamics, narrower movable front wing and movable rear wing. The rear can be opened without needing to be within 1 second of the car ahead. V6 engine with triple the electrical power, although combustion power is reduced, which is elimination of MGUH. Overtaking mode can be used if within 1 second of the car ahead. Mode will require being less than 1 second behind the car ahead, but only in a detection zone. If that condition is met in that zone, it will be possible to activate overtake mode in different parts of the circuit. The energy of the car in front will gradually decrease after 290 km/h, while the car behind will be able to obtain full 350 kilowatts until reaching 337 km/h. DRS is going to be abandoned, but the drag reduction will indeed take place on the straights for all cars at the same time. So the traditional way of racing, taking the slipstream to overtake, is over. DRS was an aid to that, but with various modes the cars won't generate enough slipstream. So we are going to rely solely on the engine and electrical energy. Someone will say it's just another gimmick, but I don't agree. For me, it changes a tremendous amount in the philosophy of overtaking. Boost button, maximum energy and battery power as long as the battery is charged. Recharge button, it's just when you recharge your battery to again have a full maximum of energy. Less aerodynamic downforce, elimination of ground effect tunnels and incorporation of flatter floors. We will have different types of aerodynamics as race director will not allow, for example, to have both wings active when it is raining, but if conditions are better, then a part of front wing will be activated. Ultimately, when conditions are safe and sound, both wings will be activated. Narrower 18 tires, large diffusers and return of barge boards, less wheelbase distance, reinforced roll hoop to withstand the equivalent weight of 9 family cars, and new sustainable fuels. I believe this will reward the sharpest drivers who can understand the technical advantage and disadvantages of the cars that they have, employing the additional electrical power in areas where their car may be limited, but conserving electrical power in areas where the car is strong, as the drivers have to control their batteries not to run out of the power and control their speed and overtaking or possibility of racing throughout the whole distance of race. Yes, the regulation will set the limits, but then it's up to you and your technology to perform up to the limit. How efficient are your recovery and deployment system to transfer the most power to stores into performance? That was just the quick update of info that I've got from F1 news, so just keep watching the video and drop your thoughts in the comments of these changes. That was the one last for today. Thank you for watching. Drop your thoughts in the comments on Horner's case, Portuguese return in F1 and Bem Sulayem reinstallation. Hit like and subscribe button to not miss any fun content during winter break, and I'll see you in the next one.